Morning traders, welcome to the Traders Lab. I'm your host Tom B. Thanks for stopping by today. I stream live Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're all invited to the Trader Lab community. The Trader Lab is a group of like-minded traders who come together to leverage their collective experience, and there's no cost to participate in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab, as well as take advantage of structured trades based on auction market theory. That's how the market works, why it does what it might do, and how at times you might get in alignment with it with structured trades. Trader Lab, you might consider as an advanced process for traders who are looking to build out the business of trading. There is no holy grail, but the business of trading is built on statistics, probabilities in a completely uncertain random environment. The idea is to approach the business really for what it is, and that is a gaming process. Now, what is gaming? It is based on the same way or a template that has been proven of the way casinos operate. And gaming really is only playing games based on a casino model that have a statistical edge. And just like us, we don't control the participant behavior, and the casinos don't control the cards coming out of the deck. We don't control what the other gamblers or other traders might do at any moment, what might come into the market, and the casinos don't control how gamblers play their cards. They are in a completely random environment. What do they have? They have games that have a statistical edge that favors them. They also pay the gamblers. So how do they stay in business and build larger casinos? Because they don't change the games, they don't make them up, they are disciplined, and they just deal the next hand. Now that's something that is quite counterintuitive to us because our emotional wiring is to avoid risk. And how does that manifest itself in trading? That is looking for certainty, piling on indicators, multiple time frames, and it's really based on risk avoidance, which is a reptilian brain output. It'll supersede your intentionality, which is a conscious brain, if you will, that's built on top of the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain, of course, works really good when you're out in the tundra and you want to avoid the saber-toothed tiger, but we cannot, at least hormonally and from the reptilian side, differentiate to the stimulus that takes place when we want to be intentional, but we're in a completely uncertain random environment. Think about it. If you're in a random environment, you can't, quote, predict. You're going to look for confirmation to avoid the saber-toothed tiger. This is the catch-22. The Trader Lab was created to help developing traders understand what the business is, how to manage themselves, and develop. And there is no holy grail. There's no shortcut. If you want to create a business, you are all invited to the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. There's no cost. If you're visiting on YouTube, feel free. Use the link down there. And as this stream goes, please follow. I stream every day. And what you see here in the stream is basically what you get. Now, the goal here is this is not a trade calling room. This is based on educational purposes only. Let's move along. General disclosure. All Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice or recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss, and it's not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And again, this is not a trade calling room, but if we get into real time, we'll go there. So let's go take a look. Now, by the way, Bookmap has kind of come up with something that's a surprise. Call it a gift. And what it is it's kind of like the 12 days of Advent or Christmas, this kind of thing. And what it is, and here's the deal, you have to sign up to Discord in order to have access to this. And it's going to be individual traders, including me, professional traders and streamers in Bookmap server that are giving tidbits or on specific areas of advice. Real short little things, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, that you'll be getting an opportunity to access. And this is exclusive to Bookmap Discord Trader Lab participants and Discord server participant. So if you're not part of Discord and you want to access these little tidbits, which I think you're really going to enjoy and you're going to learn something from, click the link in the bottom of YouTube if you're visiting Trader Lab today and access that. I think you're going to get a kick out of it, and always the goal is that you learn something. So, and again, please give a thumb up. And again, if you're just visiting, welcome to the Trader Lab. Now, let's go take a look at what's going on. This is called a micro-composite volume point of control. And I want to point some things out to you guys that you might find interesting. Maybe. So what happened yesterday? Yesterday, now we had heavy selling. Let's come back. In Trader Lab, if you're following the streams, and these are posted up on YouTube, it's Auction Market Theory on Display, and there's actually 3 of them. Okay, and it's these days. 1, 2, 3. So what did we do here? This was a short in the Trader Lab down to this target here. If you follow the stream, you know this. And what was this? This was a test of this level day before yesterday and a short. And in the Trader Lab, you would learn market mechanics. Now, nothing is predictive, okay? It's all maybe. Remember, random environment. But if you understand how the market works, and that's really what auction market theory is, why does this thing do what it does? Well, if the sellers get short, which means shorts, and we open higher, and this level right here was too high, you know the concept. Resistance might become support. And that sets up the shorts here and here getting squeezed out. And that sets up yesterday's squeeze. And what was our target yesterday? Here. And what's above this high? Stops. So that was our idea. And our target above, now I can't put this all on here, but you'll get the idea. In a broad stroke was 6103-ish. Well, yesterday's high was 0275. What do you think of that? Is it interesting to you? Now, what happens yesterday? And then I'm going to take you into Bookmap because I'm going to start drilling down. Call this a higher time frame, okay? So, yesterday we had a wick at an excess and we closed inside. And we closed below 6090. Now this is called a this is a micro composite, and what we're seeing in a higher time frame is this: too high, too low. Retail. Well, this yellow line was where the highest volume was yesterday. Consider it where the participants were willing to buy and sell and interact together. It's below this level. Too high, too high. Now you're going to come back and you're going to see something interesting. And this is what makes the auction and the volume profile, I think, a standout tool for traders to use. Let's look here. Too high, fall out of this distribution yesterday. What does this do, this red line? It's called the microcomposite low volume node. What is low volume? Low volume is an outside edge of a distribution. Not complicated, just random, but it's here. And we closed, look at the wick. What is it saying? Language. This is the language of the market. I'm not paying that. Retail. Too high. What about this outside edge of a distribution? We're under it. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Now what? We come down. What is support? Here, another high volume node. And what's the outside edge of this distribution? There. Now, let's come back again to the condition of the market. Shorts got squeezed, new longs. Open higher, squeeze out the shorts. All these guys got thrown under the bus. Take out the buy stops, fail under this distribution, and now the market is long. Who gets thrown under the bus this time? The longs. Where's my support? There. And this could be a potential target too, but we got here. Now you see the high time frame picture. By the way, I got to remind you, if I drop out, I'm streaming from Costa Rica, and it's not known, at least where I am, in a very small beach community for infrastructure. Power fluctuates. I'll drop out, but I will come back. And if you're in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab, you guys know the drill already. So please be patient if you're visiting in YouTube, and also give a like. Now, I'm going to drop down into a shorter time frame. This is called it's auction, but the auction happens in all fractals and time frames. So consider a way to think of this psychologically. There's two things. One is shopping. What's too high, what's too low. That's what consolidations are all about. You break away from a consolidation, it's being rejected. Maybe. I'm always going to say maybe because what do we got here? Maybe. So maybe that's what it means. Maybe if it's too high, we're going to go the other direction. Maybe we'll come back and check it. And then, of course, maybe. Remember, casinos. Now, let's go into the ETH. Now, this is the RTH open. And what's come back? Settlement was here. The retail price, the highest volume price, was 96 from yesterday. There. See how these levels interact? The settlement was up here at 92 in here, and then we opened below it. What does it say? Let's get to the language part of this. Too high. Let's go to the ETH. Hope it doesn't make you nutty, but this is Trader Lab. This is kind of how we might get an edge over other traders who don't understand how the market works. This is the overnight volume point of control. Highest volume in the ETH. What might that say? We opened below the last auction, ETH. I'm not paying that. Maybe. Again, maybe. We're below the ETH high. And we're below that 96. I'm not paying that. That's too high. I'm under the ETH high. And I have my overnight volume point of control. Watch. Here. Retail. And my RTH open is here. What might happen next, you're asking? Follow the yellow brick road. This is Trader Lab. This is trading the auction. And all you can do, remember, if it's random and uncertain, is have structured trades that have a statistical edge. And this is what I share in Trader Lab. Now, there is no holy grail. We all take stops. Welcome to trading. And by the way, don't the casinos pay the gamblers? Can you have a business with no overhead and expenses? If you own a business, don't you have to manage your overhead and expenses? How do we do that in trading? Protective stops, and only playing games like the casinos that have a statistical edge, except for us, they're called structured trades in the Trader Lab. And you're all welcome to Trader Lab. Now let's get on with it. We open lower, and for all the reasons that I've already mentioned, shorts. And why shorts? The market's long. Write this down. The market goes up to go down. The market goes down to go up. The market goes up to go down. The market goes down to go up. The market goes up to go down. The market goes down to go up. Squeezes. The market goes up to go down. The market goes down to, we don't know from where, to potentially go up. Are you guys tracking? You got to stay with me, and you're going to see advanced processes that anyone can learn. I believe anybody can learn how to trade if they do the work. Being able to trade is another issue, and you can address that in the Trader Lab if you come to Trader Lab. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be successful in this business, because it takes tenacity and rolling up your sleeves and saying, I'm going to get advanced degree. If you want to be a top performer in any profession, including this one, you're going to have to do something different and also think differently and potentially abandon what you believe this business is in exchange for what you will learn it might be. Now, that truth may not be appropriate for you, but if you're in Trader Lab, I believe you'll learn the truth, and then you have to create your own. What was this? If we're following the auction, this is the last retail price. So I open and the market's long and I test an area. Now, you have to understand, the auction is levels. It's not mechanical. It is context is number one. By the way, please give a like if you're getting something out of this, okay? So if this is, remember, trading is not magic, it's just shopping. If you are a shopper and you go to the store, you already are trading, you just don't realize it. If a price is too high, you won't pay it. And then the sellers, if they want to entice the buyers, are going to lower the price until on sale, right? And if you're a shopper and you perceive a retail price here, now, first of all, if it's too high, you won't pay it. So the sellers are going to lower the price to find the buyers. And at some point, the buyers are going to throw a couple cans of tuna in the shopping cart, and then the sellers are going to start raising the price, and then the buyers are going to perceive the price as being a deal, and still they're going to buy it as the sellers raise the price. In other words, they pull, you say, or they're filled, they're limited, whatever it is. So this is what creates our rotation. So if this is too high south of the border, now you ask, now what? Now we come into structured trades, which I'm going to show you in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. You're all welcome to visit and join this community. It's serious. It's business. It's not romper room. And there's no holy grail. So let's just get real. So we are opening lower inside of yesterday's range. Grab these statistics, write them down. Past performance, not indicative of future results. You got to vet them. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but listen to this. In this context, in this condition, with this open, there's an 83%-ish probability that we're going to test the overnight volume point of control. And you're going to ask me, why aren't you calling trades, Tom? Because you don't need that. What you need is understanding how the market works. There's loads of trades and thousands in a career. Without understanding what this is, trade calling is a waste of your time. You won't have a career, in my opinion, not to offend anybody. So 83%-ish probability to check this price in this condition. If it's too high, south of the border. If it's not, we can go up to the next price at 96. Here's the next one. Taking out the previous high or low, 85% probability. Getting to the previous close or settlement, 72-ish probability. Getting to the previous point of control, 96, about 70% probability. Getting to ETH high or low, let me find those. Well, about a 93% probability to take one of them out, and to take both of them out, about a 22% probability. Taking out either the first hour's high or low, 97% probability. 29% probability to take out both. And as Dirty Harry has always said, do you feel lucky? Well, do you? RTH open. First statistic, 82%-ish probability. Past performance not indicative of future results. And I'm going to go into order flow, and I'm going to put compound pieces together, all of which you can learn with Bookmap education. But I don't use indicators. And you're going to go, really? And I'm going to go, yeah, because I found that they were the problem, not the solution. Doesn't mean, for me, again, I only talk about me, but I've been doing this 45 years. Maybe I had more problems than you. And the other part was I had more time. So more time, more indicators, more time frames, and eventually trading systems. So indicators on steroids, looking for optimization and certainty, confirmation. If that's you, that's okay. Because that's all of us. That's okay too. But the thing about it is, we all have winning trades. That is actually a problem because we think we just have to make what we do better. That's what we call logic. But what we don't understand is we're in a random environment. And if you just pushed buy or sell, you're going to still have winning trades. What does that tell you about trying to curve fit and optimize and make it better? You can spend years on the quest for more certainty and confirmation to make it better. and that's called curve fitting. And what I found, unfortunately, because when I started, there was nothing. I mean, there was no internet. There were no PCs in 1980 when I started. So my learning curve was abysmal, only because there was no information. All my friends were floor traders. There weren't off-floor traders. They were, hiding under a rock someplace. And when I started, my goal was to get a membership. So that's where I was headed. But then when I started working outside of the floor, I started seeing behaviors and indicators were just coming into the public space at that time. So I kind of gravitated. I said, oh, this looks great. I shared an office with George Lane. And there's, by the way, a primer webinar that you can access in the Trader Lab that gives you a little background on me. George Lane created stochastics. He had an Apple I, a real pioneer. And you know what a stochastic is. It's an oscillator. I thought that was the holy grail. That's all I can tell you. Now you guys have MACDs, CCIs, pick one. They're all derivative. They all end up doing the same thing. They work sometimes, they don't. Even the magic 8-ball works sometimes. So RTH open, location, levels in the auction are like real estate, not walls. So what happens? Let's look. Now, this is microstructure. So we open at 8:30 RTH my time right here. Overnight volume point of control retail. So right here, the market opens and I get my selling right out of the box. So for me, this sets up a short. Watch. And where am I trying to go? Right here. So this is right here, actually. This is the high. This is the art right here. So it opens like right there. And right here is too high. So this is the current high. This is actually the open here. So I open and I look at this as a test. Now, and I, just like you, take stops. There's no magic to this. It's just maybe. Break low. I get my VWAP in mid. I get my first short. Now, what does that do for me? Well, I know this is too high. Maybe, underline, actually, this is here. One moment. Maybe we're going to go down to the overnight mid. Now, I know I didn't mention overnight mid, but in this context, 83% probability. So I know statistically, 82% probability, 83% probability, longs on the hook. Remember, watch. I got an ant running over my screen. Come on. Too high, too high, too high. This sets up shorts in the Trader Lab. Now, I'm not saying this is your trade. I'm telling you about structured trading in the Trader Lab. This is a micro high volume structure. It's called an overnight volume point of control. I'm sorry, a variable high volume node. I made these terms up. They didn't exist. It's kind of, didn't know what to call it. So I said, well, that's high volume. And it went lower. There's more volume here than here. So I guess it's variable. It's a high volume node. So now it's a variable high volume node. How's that for in creating ideas? And this is quite contrary to what I believed this was all about. I kept thinking I need confirmation. I can predict the high and the low. And part of that was because I took a classical bar charting course at the CME, so I thought measured moves, head and shoulders, pennants, all this stuff. So I kind of went off in a direction of classical bar charting. We didn't have candles or any of that. It was bar charts, open, high, low, close. And we didn't have multiple time frames. That really didn't exist either. So it was daily bars. So that's where I started. Anyway, not important. So this is too high right here. So I come up. And this is called mean reversion. I cross the mean. So I open, I get my initial sellers, that's the longs. I get others in here who think, oh, well, let's buy the dip. Right, maybe. Too high, too high, too high. My trade fails over here. That's all I can tell you. And the goal is to get risk neutral. So that can be anywhere your trade plan suggests. Now let's watch. Now, there are higher time frame targets, right? Now, what do we know? There's over an 80%, let me look here. Sorry, guys. Statistics. 85% probability I take out yesterday's higher low. I don't know about you, but based on everything we know here, then ETH low. And then, since the longs are under the bus, what's our next target? There. All on the chart before the market opens. This is what trade plan represents. And then, and this is the target, and all this is posted in Trader Lab prior to the open, and then this. Okay, well, we got here. I don't know if you have a problem with that. I don't. This is a trade. Nothing more, nothing less, and always random. Now let's look at this. If you got short in this area, and by the way, I'm going to take you a little deeper. Just one thing I forgot to mention. There's so much to talk about. If this is the overnight volume point of control, right? Retail in the ETH, watch. I have too much on my mind because I have so much I want to share with you. And I post continually as much as I can. I am a full-time trader, so it's kind of like walking gum and, and chewing it, whatever they say at the same time. And that's not easy. But my objective is to help Trader Lab participants differentiate their outcomes from most retail traders, which unfortunately, because most retail traders think this is a business of indicators and timeframes, for me it is not. This is too high right here. Now let's look at what happens here. I'm taking you down into order flow. Right here, this is my retail price, and I'm coming into the RTH open. I meant to show this to you. My brain is preoccupied. This is the stop and iceberg detector. Let me show you. Now, this is nuanced and advanced. You can learn this stuff. Like everything, you can learn it. I come up here, I have 10 buy stops. I come here, I got 1 buy stop. I make a new high, I have 4 buy stops. And I see selling icebergs. What does that tell me? Let's think about it. Green bubble. What's a green bubble? Delta. What is represented in delta? Aggressors, which are measured as market orders, and stops, which become market orders. Delta can't differentiate, but we can. We can differentiate not what will happen, but when I see 4 buy stops and I see selling icebergs, I'm on alert. Now let's come back here. What is this? A micro consolidation. I know I'm in minutia. Let me just pull this here. See the buyers here? What's over here? Passive buyers, passive sellers. That's what this is, a consolidation, and I'm using an electron microscope. This is where Bookmap shines for me. Now I see my buyers. They're above these sellers. Think about it. Now right in here is volume, micro, because this is a consolidation. Too high, too low. Retail price. Look over here. Where do I come back? I come back to where the sellers were overtaken by the buyers. Now you can learn this in Trader Lab. You're not going to walk into Trader Lab and be able to do this. You can walk into Trader Lab and learn how to do it if you do the work. And the work is a commitment. So what happens here? Buyers are here, going to the moon. I got buyers here and I got sellers there. When I break this volume, which is right there, micro high volume, let me show it to you. Right here, I'm testing this. I see a buyer here under the bus. This is absorption. Buy icebergs. They're buying. And it's like Pac-Man. The sellers overtake the buyers. This sets up a short for me. Now I got to find a way to get short. Where do I come back? The buyers are here. The buyers are here. The buyers take a shot on goal here. Remember what's here. The buyers tried here. The buyers are here. The buyers are here. The sellers got lambasted here. Now this is micro. I break down, I have absorption, and the buyers fail here, right there. Let me throw another little line up here. I apologize if you find this boring, but this is a short. This is how you put these pieces together. What happened here? I tested. These guys are under the bus, these buyers, so I know they were absorbed. My sellers took control here. So this is support. This is resistance. Break below. Sellers are in control. Counter rotate. This is why you got to know what you will do. Too high. Going to the moon, Alice. Break low. Who's under the bus? These guys. Buyers are here. What don't we do? Right here, I don't get above. What is that in the Trader Lab, you ask? A short. Okay, now I'm going to move on. I had to show it to you. Because how do you put pieces together, right? Now, when I talk about doing this, remember, these are called structured trades. Why do we want to use a structured trade? Because we anticipate them. We do not predict them. We read order flow in alignment with how the market works, not what it'll do, what it might do. Remember, maybe. Maybe when the casinos deal the next hand, maybe the casinos are going to pay the gamblers, or maybe the gamblers will pay the casino. Maybe. But the casinos know over a random interaction or a random distribution of interactions that potentially they'll extract more from the gamblers than the gamblers will from the house. What do you do when you have a losing trade? Do you change what you do? Do you stop trading? Do you change your behavior? Do you bail out, micromanage the next trade, even though each hand or each trade is a unique, isolated, individual event? Do you change your behavior? Guess what? The casinos don't do it. So how can you extract a statistical edge, assuming you know you have one, which gives you the confidence to execute consistently, which means a tangible metric in an uncertain environment that stimulates your fight and flight, and let me out of here. There's a saber-toothed tiger right behind that tree, which causes your reptilian brain to supersede your intentionality. If you don't understand these things, I think statistically you might have a problem, because this is what most retail traders never get to understand. They're too hung up on indicators and and not having a tangible measurement that helps you overcome the fear, which is wired. Okay, so let's come back. Now, what's my targets? Here. This just disappeared. It'll come back. And here. So this is the current low of the day. Now, let's go from here. Do you have questions, by the way? Please post them in YouTube, and give a like if you like this. Also, I want to remind you guys, there's something special going on. There's going to be, call it trader tidbits, insights from traders, professional traders, and they're going to be short snippets. I did one. I think it's really cool. It's about 10 minutes, so it's sort of a, get a taste of what I do, and you can look at it. And but you have to register. You have to be part of the Bookmap Discord community, and you need to register for it. It's called the 12 days, I guess, of Christmas or holidays. You've heard of that before, right? I don't have a link currently available to it, but you will be able to get it. There's that link in the bottom of YouTube. You can use that, and then you can have access to this and all the additional education that's available in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. By the way, that's the current low of the day. That was a target, and of course, one below, and clueless, right? Now, let's remember, what is this? A variable high volume node. Now, we have a couple of other pieces for you to enjoy. I actually am forgetting structured trades here because I'm distracted in my own world. This is too high. I'm going to label it. Watch my process. Again, I can't predict anything. I truly can't. And the reason I can't is because my job is not to predict. My job is to align with structured trades that are in alignment with the current developing condition of the market. Now, let me show you another structured trade. Now, we're going for over 80% probability to take yesterday's low out. What might I do? How about showing you another structured trade in TraderLab? You can learn this, and this is what it's called. When we cross over this, now what is this? It's called developing volume point of control. What it measures is volume. So right now, right up here was the highest volume. That's why this thing is sitting here. When we break, we consolidate here. Well, let me show you. Now remember, if I move this, there's nothing below it, right? Watch. So chop, chop, chop. What is a chop, chop? Now this is a directional move. I get a chop, chop here. That's a consolidation. Let me show you. Now I'm getting more into shorter term structure, but this is the auction. Why does the market stop here? Let me help you. You see a green bubble. Does that mean get long? Well, if you got a statistic, and if you're in TraderLab, you would know this, that's over 80%. Perhaps not. Perhaps if you're below the overnight mid, perhaps not. Test. And you're below the ETH, volume point of control, retail, perhaps not. Perhaps you would remember from the top of the stream that the statistics suggest over 80%, and you'd remember from the top of the stream that longs have stops under yesterday's low. Do you want to join the longs, or do you want to be with the shorts? It's an important question to consider. So what is this? Let's come right here. We have the sellers here. Urgent. It's like, get me out of here. Buyers, are you going to get long here? Not me. What is this? The buyers are here, delta, and what happens? They're absorbed. The passive side, which we cannot see, which is the limit order book, is absorbing the buyers. This is how this works. You got a buyer. Why isn't it going up? Well, there's a seller. Can you see the seller? No. But where am I? Mid. Okay, and there's more. Watch. So, let me come back. Now, as this thing is developing, I'm narrating, and you'll learn this in TraderLab. So what is this? Chop, chop, chop. Consolidation. Too high, and the buyers are here. Sellers are there, and now, since I'm below this buyer, the sellers, the limit sellers are sitting here. Now, it can break high because I got my buyers here, or it can break low. What is this? This is a consolidation. Let me help you see it. Now, why am I taking all this time? Because this is market mechanics. You can learn this. And what might this do for you if you could do this? That's why TraderLab exists, to show you how the market works, not to predict, not on the table for me, but I can align and I can follow structure with order flow and then overlaying this on other behaviors. Watch. What is this? Too high, too low, break low, TraderLab trigger. And this is not necessarily a trade for you. It is a way to navigate. And if this is too high, what happens up here? Where's my buyers? Now, I got my buyers there, but where's my sellers? There and there. What do I test? These sellers, and my stop could be over here after I break away. Now what happens here? Let's keep going. And I'm down in the electron microscope, not actionable unless you're highly skilled. Let's watch. So what does this say? Language. I speak market. This is like a foreign language. If you don't use indicators, I should say, how am I doing this? Because I understand it. This is how you learn order flow. If I got buyers here and I got sellers here and I test the sellers and I break away, what's the language say? Too high. I'm not paying that. Leave the store. Remember, shopping. come back and check. Is this price really too high? Hey, have some more S&Ps. Break. Too high, too high. Watch. Now, what's going on over here? You're asking me. Let's take a look. Chop, chop, chop. What's going on? VPOC migration. Variable high volume node. Follow the yellow brick road. Stay with me. You're going to learn something. If you're interested in learning and trader education and potentially developing a business, that's Trader Lab. You don't need anybody calling trades. What's that going to do for you? What was too high? VWAP admit, structured trade in the Trader Lab. Watch. This is a structured trade. Now I'm going to show you the trigger. And what's the target? This. It's called mean reversion. This is a shift in context inside of a down context. Multiple time frames as you think of them. I don't think of time. I think of fractal. The clock doesn't regulate this. And I have my statistical target here and there, right? You remember. So right here, I see my sellers. My sellers are here. My seller is there. My buyers are here. And I'm at a location that was too high before. Notice how I'm putting pieces together. This now is a consolidation. It's right here. My buyers are there and here. My buyers are here at resistance. You can see it there. This is the profile showing me volume. Remember, shoppers, when you go to the store, you're checking prices. Aren't you a shopper? Well, if I come back to a location, and you might think of this as resistance, and it's too high, and the shoppers come back to the store, and they love to shop over here for their tuna, and they go, I'm not paying that. What are they going to do? Well, you have somebody who needs tuna for the casserole, but most tuna shoppers are going to leave the store. And if this is the retail price here, we can reject this and return here. That's called mean reversion. It's a structured trade. Watch. This is your scale if you took a short. Now watch. VPOC migration. This suggests upside rotation. Now I'm going to take you into something more advanced. If I come across the range, I now have stops here and here, and my outside edge of what I fell out of is this distribution up here. This is called the variable high volume node. I'm not paying that. Get out of here. And we leave it. Well, if I rotate up, my resistance is out here, and this is really where the trade goes south of the border. Let's watch. And there's an indication that that's going to happen when this shifts. Let's just watch the behavior. Where do we go? Stay with me. What was this? Wasn't this too low? And where's too high? Out here. Low volume node. In Trader Lab, if you have this vetted, it's another short. And where do we test? Let's look. This is too high. That's the high volume node. I know you're going, I can't do this. I'm going to say, yeah, you can. If you learn it. Where do I come? That's the low volume node. This is another short in Trader Lab, and I'm in multiple time frames. I know you'll be confused. I call them fractals. Why does this exist? Because this price was too high and we rejected it. And when we come, and here, this is when I shift up, right here, it's a warning Will Robinson moment. This is a structured short. This, if you took this is your target. This is your target. For me, when I'm crossing above this, I have to be on alert because twice, stops are here. Stops are going to be here. If I come down here, I need to get below, and I don't. Instead, I squeeze. Why does this squeeze happen, by the way? Because it's the same reason in the higher time frame that the market goes up to go down and goes down to go up, because there's stops always on both sides of rotations in all time frames and fractals, So if I come down and I don't get to my target and it's all random, I can come across the range and go into the squeeze area. But if you understand how the market works, you know this is potentially an outside edge of a distribution because we rejected this. So if I stay below here, and I understand that this is an outside edge of a distribution, there's going to be stops. I'm looking to either get stopped out and you know, your broker sends you a gift basket, or fade it for what's called mean reversion, and that's mean. And what that is outside in trading, rotational trading. In TraderLab, you would understand that you have different plans inside plans. When the market changes condition, it's not one size fits all. It's, oh, where does this trade fail? Now, if you're managing your trade, individual trade plan, how you do that, statistically based, you might get taken out of your short. And you ring the register and you go, huh, that's interesting. Well, where's my next trade? Well, I have a statistic over 80%. And the idea of taking out yesterday's high, maybe not so much. Maybe. Not my job. But what do I know is too high at the moment out here? So I come out here, if it is mean reversion, and I get a structure. So here, too fast for most mortals. By the time you get in here, you're getting in here, that's your scale. We come back, outside edge. What was up here? Sellers. What happens here? What happens here? Buyers are here under the bus. Passive side there. We come back in mean reversion. This is a potential short in TraderLab to here, up to you. You'd get risk neutral, and then you're going for the statistic. Comes back, you're either your stops up here or above the high volume node here. This is your resistance. Put another one on, get taken out, doesn't matter. Put the trade on, another TraderLab structured trigger. Micro high volume is here, buyers are here, going to the moon, buyers got trapped here, order flow, watch. If you micromanage, you might get ticked out by 1 or 2 ticks. For me, the trade fails at the up here, actually. High volume node here, and that's my outside edge. Coming up into here, sets up mean reversion, no clue, put the trade on, find your helmet, limit passive sellers, no way to know, buyers trapped, holy mackerel, buyers here, they're going to take me out, sellers below the buyers, trigger, short, stop, mean reversion, target open, watch, scale, risk neutral, TraderLab process, statistically based, helmet on, watch. I'm going here, I am clueless, I'm continually clueless, I will always be clueless, I'm certainly not ignorant, but I am continually clueless because I don't predict. I align. Where does this trade fail? Up here, and here's VWAP to VPOC. If you have enough range, structured trade, mean reversion. When I come across here, I'm rotational still. I break below, I have another structured trade. I can get short here. I could be short here. I can be anything that I have a vetted trade. Right here, too high. I see my seller. I'm going to speed up just to move us along. Micro high volume. In here, break low, short. Why? Over 80% probability, over 90% probability. And then in the higher time frame, let's come back. Just going to bring you back to the top of the stream. There. 67.5 and then 63.25. And based on what did we find? What is this? Too low, too high. Consolidation in an intermediate time frame. Too high, and we found too low, and nobody knows. Welcome to trading. And what's happening now? Let's look. What happened here? The shorts got squeezed yesterday, took out the buy stops here. The longs got thrown under the bus this morning, got to the outside edge, and now the shorts from this morning are in the squeezed area. Isn't that interesting? Please give a like in YouTube. I hope you're getting something out of this. You're all invited to the Bookmap Discord TraderLab community. There's a link in the bottom of YouTube. There's 60 PDFs of these trades you can download. plus a library of webinars, and probably the most important thing, a community of serious traders looking to build a business. This is not a video game. If you're not a serious trader, then TraderLab's definitely not for you. No offense to anybody, but TraderLab is a collaborative community of traders looking to build out a trade plan and accept the random outcomes, the frustration, and the fight against your psychology. Let me try to get back here, and I'm going to try to catch up here. Let's see what we got. We got our, where are we? Looks like I missed some trades. Let me try to get back to this. At 9:30 Central Time, which is a fine time, this was our target, don't forget. So at 9:30, we have something, and let me give you a statistic. And remember, random, guys, right? And we open lower inside of range, and all statistics you have to vet for yourself. Think about this one. Taking out the first hour's high or low has a 97% probability. Now, it could be this, first hour's low, or first hour's high, which was over here, the opening swing high. What's over the opening swing high, you ask? Buy stops. If we don't get under the first hour's low, then is it possible we'll squeeze out the shorts in this leg? Since we did what? We got to a target. So you got to put the pieces together, right? Now, remember, if you're in TraderLab, nobody's predicting anything. It's about alignment. So when you have these levels on your price map, you already know you're going to be looking for behavior and maybe have a limit order sitting down here to take some off the table. Then this is the next target. And then it's trade management. Whoop, too low. How do you know it's too low? Something called hindsight. Great. In the meantime, we have something in TraderLab called trade management, because if you're in an uncertain environment, you won't know this is the low of the day. At least if you do, come to TraderLab, clue me in, and everybody else, because we don't know it either. What we know is we're in an uncertain environment that's continually random, and anything can happen. Now, right here is a change in behavior. I'm going to take you down to micro again, just because you guys deserve to see the magic. Now, the magic is not predictive. It is all based on order flow and your plan. See, it's not what I do, not me. I'm sure you guys can do this better than me. It's just I'm doing this 45 years, right? And not this process either. I've done the same thing you guys have done. Same. And that certainly was not acceptable for me. I'm going to take you way down now into order flow. Now, what I'm showing you is not actionable unless it's part of your plan. My goal here is not to show you what you should do. My goal here is to show you what you can do. And you don't have to be doing any of this. You could be operating in a, quote, higher time frame, and you're going to sit through this stuff because market is always going to rotate. Now, let's take a peek behind the financial curtain together. This is support, break high. This is resistance, break low. This is what? What is this right here? High volume, right there. I'm going to put a little mark on it for you, and I'm going to draw a little something else for you. Now, we all think about price action, right? Well, price action is created by the participant behavior. So when I think about price action, actually, I misdrew this. It should be, well, this should be over here, okay? But, so the buyers are here, the sellers are here, this is a consolidation, and inside of it is the auction. So what is an auction? Well, consolidations are fights, really. It's sellers are here, buyers are here. Otherwise, why would we go up? And why is this guy over here? Why did we go down when you see a green bubble? Buy stops, and look who's on the other side. Selling iceberg, limit order. With the MBO package and using order flow, I can read it. Now, I don't predict. I know what it says. Remember, language. I break low. I'm under these buyers who are absorbing the shorts. And this guy got absorbed by the sellers. I break low, nothing to do yet. I come back and I don't get over this. I break low. This is a trigger in micro in the trader lab. Now let's look where the buyers were. They were here. I break below them. And what do? I test them. If now these guys are saying, I'm out of here, we break low. This is a trigger. Again, advanced process. Now I'm going to take you down the other side just so you could kind of see this. Is this useful, guys? Let me know. You know, I try to cover a lot of stuff here, and one thing I don't have is time. So I hope you're getting something out of this. If you're in YouTube, I hope you are seeing, I call it the magic. Also, subscribe to this because I post special things. I actually posted something, auction market theory on display. There's 3 parts. So you could see how this manifested itself over the last, 3 days. It was special, and typically these are not available unless you're in the book. It's only available to Bookmap Discord Trader Lab participants. There's no cost to join the community, but it is only for Bookmap Discord Trader Lab participants. But occasionally I put things out so others, especially you guys who only visit, can see something. And then if you think it might help you or you want to expand your understanding of what the business is, there's a link in the bottom of YouTube. But if you're not in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community, it's out there. And there's 3 of them. And what it shows you is what I narrated at the top of the stream, the higher time frame. But then I also show you inside of it and how you navigate it with structured trades. Right here is an auction. Let's look at it. Sellers are here. Why didn't it go down? I know. Limit icebergs. Sell stops. It's covered up. There's about 150 stops right there. Thanks for playing. Broker sending you a gift basket. Now, here's our consolidation. I have no clue that we're not going to break lower. Do you? The only thing I know is this is a target, and I have a limit order if I'm short here, or if I don't, I'm managing my trade. That's as deep as this is. Let's look at change. You see something different here? I see change. These guys, the buyers were here, and you don't know until hindsight. I see the buyers. I also know my sellers were here. And right here, I get a selling iceberg and absorption. The buyers blow through the seller. That's potentially underlying a change in behavior. Now, I know my sellers were here, and they are under the bus. And now I know my buyers are here, and I know my high volume is right there. Remember, retail. Think of this like your store down the street, Can of tuna, midnight, you got to have it for the casserole. Break high. Absorption, run over. Icebergs, under the bus. Support. Now, break high. I'm seeing a bunch of buyers here. I'm now coming out over here. And now I get these sellers. Just watch. And resistance is right here. Now, if we're going down, I'm going to hold this. But where is support? There. Why? Too low. Now, this is trading in fractals, okay? Now, it's advanced. Don't think you're going to be able to do this. How do you learn this? Because you got to learn the higher or larger strokes, because we're not unconsciously competent unless you put the practice and the time in, the replays, and you might even say the weeping and gnashing of teeth, the frustration of developing unconscious competence. Since this is language, at least for me and in Trader Lab, and you don't have to do it this way. If you understand how the market works, you can deploy indicators, but most retail traders think this is a business of indicators and timeframes. It's really not. It's a business of participant behavior that then you can measure and you can use indicators, but you need to understand how the market works, why it rotates, why a market goes up to go down and goes down to go up, locations of behavior and how you identify them and what you do about it. Then it's structured trades and extracting a statistical edge, and then trade management processes, risk management, targeting like this, and the rest of it. So we know right here the buyers were here, and I have a change in behavior. I have microstructure here, which becomes resistance. I come back, and here's my sellers going to zero, except what do I know? My support is here, and I don't know what it'll do. So what do? I come here too low. Now, where's the next one? Here is retail. Break low. Sellers are here. Buyers are here. Buyers are there. And buyers were in the volume over here. Support. Break high. Now, what do you do about this? Well, here's what I know. This is a key level. And if it's an outside edge and I can't get below it, then everybody who's short might have a problem. Now, for me, I can't predict that. In the Trader Lab, what would you do? Manage your trade, get out of Dodge, or something else. Let's look at what something else might be. Let's look at what's going on here. Now, there's a couple possibilities. Let's look at them. Now, the key component is, and there's a couple key issues here. This, right? And now I'm coming across the range. Right here, I have the mid and the VWAP. Here's the possibilities. I come back here, but here's the but. But this is the retail price for the developing time frame. I'm in multiple time frames. So I know I can come here or right here. If I get selling, I can come back and rotate back here. This is what I know. So right here, if you took this trade, but I'm going to share something else with you. Now, you might take that trade and take a stop. But what do we know? You'd learn this in Trader Lab. What we know is, what is at the outside edge of swings? Stops. Isn't that right? So you have to look left. What do I know here? There's stops. What do I know here? There's stops. What do I know there? There's stops. What do I know here? There's stops. And what do I know there? There's stops at the low of the day. In Trader Lab, you need to understand market mechanics. Market goes up to go down. Market goes down to go up. Where from? Welcome to trading. Uncertain and random at all times. So if you take a trade, number one, you run a stop, and you have to base it on, of course, your plan and structure. Where does this thing fail? You need to be able to justify taking risk because you have a target that has an edge to get risk neutral. Means a minimum 2-lot configuration. The next piece is trade management and targeting. Risk neutral first, and then what? Where's our stops? The opening swing high. You notice we're coming across the range. This is the retail price. What's above the opening swing, you ask? Stops. 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 Get going? Uh-oh. Now, again, if you take a trade anywhere in here, you're going to take a stop. Welcome to trading. I have to say, without being insensitive to anybody, get over it. Now, because the casinos pay the gamblers. Now, we have another structured trade coming up. Watch. We have two trades here. Now, remember the probabilities, and please give a like if you're getting something out of this. We have the IB stat, first hour's high or low, pick one, about 98% probability, and you have to bet this for yourself. So if we have a 98% probability of coming out of here, you have choices. Once the squeeze is on, and I had a data drop up. By the way, remember, if you're in YouTube or even the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community, I'm in Costa Rica, and trading from Costa Rica adds some additional challenges because the power goes out and routers have to reset, or the internet just goes out for no reason, other than we suspect it's the monkeys, but blame them. So what was too high? Remember our shorts? This distribution. And this was resistance out here, right? You do remember that short. I shared it with you. If I come outside and I check this, and I have over a 90% probability of taking it out, first hour's high, then where's my support? If this was an outside edge, remember, because we had a short all the way down to the low and that target below, microcomposite low volume node, might we be thinking now we have support? And where's my support? Out here. I have a 90% probability, actually higher than that, almost 98% probability of taking this out. Would you consider getting long? And what's up here? 86. Where does that 86 come from? I got to look here. By the way, 6090 is a potential target up above. Not important, just telling you. Let me just see if it's on here. Yeah, this is a potential target here that we'd be going for. Oh, look at that. Anyway, so we have a 98% probability of taking this thing out. And remember, we check the ETH volume point of control. If I come over this, then I have the possibility of taking out everybody who's above us. Notice where I come back. Support. Random. Where do I come back? Outside edge. Where do I come back? Previous resistance. Now, not necessarily a trade. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you something more advanced. I hope you don't mind. Order flow. Location. Structure. Outside edge. Remember, low volume is a swing. Under swings are stops. So we don't buy it here. Up to you. Maybe you do. Me. I want to see it tested. What do I see here? A sweep. Right here. This is a stop sweep detector. It's an order flow phenomena. When I see stop sweeps, and I did a webinar on this. It's posted up there in YouTube and also in the library, I think, in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. When I see a sweep, I'm on alert, and I see my sellers. I'm on alert for a reversal. And I did a webinar on this. And you can also learn this in the Bookmap Discord community. Our lead educator, Bruce, focuses on different markets using order flow, among other things. So you could learn this, and there's a lot of educational webinars, a ton of them, in the Bookmap server. You can go to bookmap.com or enter it through the Trader Lab, which I think is a nice way to enter, and see all this stuff. So this is a sweep in the book, and now I got my sellers. I have my location. I got everything here but the kitchen sink. What's going to happen here, you're asking me? And I'm going to say I have no idea, except when I see this phenomena, I'm looking for a reversal. Right here, I see a reversal. Subject to your plan, with over a 90% probability, I'm getting long. If it's not a structured trade or you haven't vetted it, then you're a tourist and you're munching on your popcorn. This is resistance. You see why, don't you? And I have a 98% probability, and I have shorts in the market now. Market goes up to go down. Market goes down to go up. I take out my statistic watch. Now I have two trades here. I have what's called the IB continuation trade, which is a long. I also have the possibility of a mean reversion trade. So I got two trades here in Trader Lab. And you're going to say, well, which one do I take? Whatever one you want. So I take out this 98% probability. Now, right here, this, no clue. So I remember my long, I got to get back here. I'm losing it, guys. Too much. I try to go quickly, but in the Trader Lab, I'm doing continual narration in the chat. I don't call trades. I provoke thought. Consider the Trader Lab like a virtual trade desk, okay? And it's to get you to think, not to give you trades. You will never be independent and build a career if you have somebody calling trades. What I do is challenge you to think and then help you interpret it. We all get it wrong, by the way. Even I get it wrong. I'm zigging and the market zags. And I miss things. Why? I'm human. We got to be real. There's no perfection in a random environment. Everybody makes errors. But once you have intentional practice and unconscious competence, even though we're imperfect beings, you make less errors. You are more timely in your entries, potentially. And using order flow, that means better entries, lower risk, easier to get risk neutral, things of this nature, So this is our long. So you would be going, there's a couple ways to do this. 98% probability, you could scale here because we might only pop and come back in. So in a structured trade, you'd be long here, you'd be risk neutral, your stop could stay under here, and then it becomes trade management per your plan. Let's look at it. What is this? Chop, 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 consolidation. What do? Break high, Trader Lab, trigger. What's in the middle of this? Volume. What happened here? Buyers. What happened to these guys? Not so much. Where's my sellers? Up here. Where's my sellers? Up here. That's the IB high. Come back. Too high. Buyers here, sellers here. It's 98% probability here. At least scale here ahead of it, and then hold and trade management. So let's look. So now you have choices. One is this sets up a potential structured short. If you took it and this is too high, here's our sellers. I need a retracement here. This is a trigger. Some traders who have not managed their FOMO are going to sell this right here. And sometimes they get paid. That's part of the random distribution of outcomes. What do I know here? My sellers are here. My buyers were here. And the buyers got run over. But what do I know about this? My buyers were here. You got to take this piece by piece. Chop, 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 break high, long trigger, support, north. Chop, 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 break low, short trigger, back to support. Two choices. Bail out, or your stop stays under here and you take your lumps with the rest of us. Welcome to trading. How do you know what to do? You're going to ask me. I'm going to say, what's your plan tell you to do? What's your statistical probability of any specific process in a random environment? This is what anchored inputs are about. It isn't making it up, which we tend to do, by the way. And when you're making it up, what is controlling your, quote, decisions? Your emotional states. Who or what is controlling your emotional states? Hyde. Who's Hyde? Jekyll and Hyde. Hyde's the emotional lunatic that resides in our reptilian brain that's constantly talking to us. Gee, I better get out. What should I do? Gee, I don't know. Oh, should I get back in? Gee, I just got taken out. I could have had blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get it back. Does it sound familiar? Welcome to trading and welcome to the mental aspects. And you need to come to Trader Lab if you have these common elements working against you so you could learn why and also develop solutions that might help you better manage these elements. We'll never get away from our reptilian brain and our basis wiring. It's worked well for survival of the species. It is counterintuitive and the opposite of what we need to do in this environment. You cannot take this environment and overlay it on what you believe based on your outside experience. If you were to run a casino and you tried to apply the rules of the outside world, you would not succeed. We have a proven model that we can use to overlay structured trades and the trading business on. The outcome of every trade, like every game in the casino, is random when you are going to pay the gamblers. But if you have an edge over time and you are consistent, and that means you have to know where your edge is and only interact when that edge shows up and be willing to pay the gamblers. I don't know any business that doesn't have expenses. Do you? Let's get real. You really have to put aside your psychology on this and understand how it impedes you from operating in this business. Support, resistance. Could be a short, but you know this is your support. This could be resistance. Now, if I'm thinking of a short and I see this, then I know this is my resistance because my sellers are here. I get a selling trigger, I have a buying trigger. As Dirty Harry says, do you feel lucky? What else do I know? I know the shorts are on the hook. So when I come here and I come out here, this trade would fail or I'd take a stop here. You take a short, you take a stop. Welcome to trading. Now what? High volume is here. Let's keep tracking the yellow brick road. And you notice I'm not looking beyond this. Why? This is what's happening right here. I don't know. Do you? And what's over here? High volume. Let's mark that one. I'm narrating. What I'm seeing is too high, too low, break high. Uh-oh. Now what? Chop, chop, new retail price. Where's my support? Now it's over here, over here, over here. I got these levels. How far back do you want to keep your trailing stop? How about this? Up to you. Then what? So here's the possibilities. I take a short, wherever it was, I think it was here. You can take a stop. You come up here. You're looking for a long. Here, called the IB continuation trade. But this is resistance. Let's look. You could take a long here, but you got resistance here. Or you're sitting here going, what's going on? Support is here. Resistance is here. Break high. You don't have an entry unless you got long here. And now, where's our high volume? It's up here. And you might not have a trade here. Let's look. Chop, chop. What's here? Buyers are here. Sellers are here. Sellers are here. And the buyers are here. Buyers try again. You see why the buyers tried again? Because they are here. Sellers here. Under the bus. Thanks for playing. Broker sent you a gift basket. Sellers are here. This is a fight. Now, I don't know how it's going to resolve. Neither do you. Break. And look at that selling. Uh-oh. Trouble. Now we have another trade show up. It's called the IB failure. This is too high. This was support. We're below it. And this was resistance, which becomes support. We break all of this. Now I have what's called the IB failure, and it truly is a failure. What was this? What's this? I come back and check. Outside edge. Again, this is Advanced Trader Lab. IBF, short in the Trader Lab. Resistance is here. Location, stop would go here. And you're trying to mean revert, which means come back to volume point of control. And you get taken out. Okay? If you took the short here, you would get risk neutral. And I didn't mark this again. I'm really slipping. What was this? Support. Right here. Sorry. So support, resistance. You see how this would work? If you got short, if you took a short here, because you don't have a way in over here, it's just, oh my goodness. So you come back, let's look at the structure here. There's your resistance. Right here at my buyer, this is absorption. I'm on alert. Buyers are here. Resistance is here. Don't know. Passive is here. Iceberg. Don't know. Break low. Trigger. Microstructure is here. I'm below the buyers here. The buyers here. The sellers were there. The sellers take over from the buyers. The sellers are here. I break. Trader Lab structured trigger. Test of this. That's a short. And whatever happens, happens. Right? What does happen? Resistance and support. You see? Now, the thing about this is there's no way to know. So all you can do, in my opinion, is what happened? That's order flow. What's the structure? We have a structured trade that didn't happen over here. If you took a long, you take a stop. If you take a short, you have your structure here. Watch. So if you take this short, now you're going to look at the consolidation. And the volume in this consolidation is down, is here. When I see this selling, where was my buying? It was right there. So what I do is I use these for scales, exits, or whatever. And I know if I come over here, it fails. My stop stays here. And subject to your plan, you'd either take the distance from entry to failure would be your scale. This is TraderLab process minimum. So the worst that happens is you scratch, and then I'm going on to wherever. When I see this, I could be scaling here, or I'm just holding, and I know this is support. Why? Because my buyers were here. What do I know about my resistance? My sellers were here. It's bracketed. One has a stop, one has a target, and it keeps going. It's a wonderful thing. When I see this, my resistance is here. If I come through here and through here, might be time to exit, or you're just leaving your stop there. I'm giving you all the ors because that's your trade plan. Now we set up something called the IB continuation trade. Support, resistance. Back here. What is this? Support, IBC, long, and you might not want to do this, be able to do it, or anything. It doesn't matter. You can learn to do it, but each of these trades are vetted. And because the market is moving like a bullet, you've got to develop a way, and that's practice, to narrate it, because we don't know what it's going to do. Remember, random. So this is a long, and because this was support, wherever it was, here, support, break high, where's my edge? Here, potential long, out the top, this, and then you're long again. Where are you trying to go? Out here, outside edge, and where is it again? 90. It's up here somewhere. So that's where you're trying to go with this. Is it maddening? This is trading. And again, if you don't have an edge, your job, if you're in TraderLab, is not to trade. Who knows? I don't know. So chop, chop, break high, break low, potential resistance, break low. What's here? High volume, right there. You can see it here. You'd learn this in TraderLab. It's order flow. Sellers are here. High volume is here. Look at my seller. Come back and check. Sellers are hanging out here. Say, come on, give me some more. Let's look at where the volume is. Break low. So trigger, test, short, test, short. Where was too low? Here. No clue. Sellers are here. Support. Now we got more support because the buyers were here and absorbed the sellers. You can start reading this. Where do we come back? Here. Resistance. What's going on here? What happened to these guys? Order flow. Buyers. What happened to them? Absorbed. Icebergs. Sellers. What happens when I get the support? I get my buyers. Why? Sellers were absorbed. What happens up here? Back to where the sellers were. These guys are under the bus. The sellers took over here. Sellers are here. Absorption. Sellers are here. Buyer takes a little shot here. Sorry, Charlie. Remember Charlie the tuna? Too high. Back to where? Where the support was. Here. I'm not a scalper. I'm really patient because I'm interested, for me, again, my personal approach, and it's not the right one, by the way. In TraderLab, you could do whatever gives you an edge. It doesn't matter. But if I get short here, this is my target because there's going to be stops here. And then I have choices. I can get long here to squeeze these guys out, or I just flatten out or whatever, or I'm trailing. You see, I don't know because I don't know. Too high. Break here. What's over here? Watch. The volume. What's over here? The volume. What happens here? The volume. Right there. Break low. Absorption. There it is. Now, where's the volume? It's here. If I come across here and this is a target, then out. If I don't come across here, south. Who knows? Look at that. I haven't seen this. That's pretty good. Now where are we going? Wish I knew. Boy, this is maddening. VPOC, the ultimate retail price, another target. And again, you're managing the trade. Another target and back to VWAP, structured trade. I did this in the morning, VWAP to VPOC, fall out the bottom. Not so much, out of the trade. I hope you're getting something out of this. I got 5 minutes left. Check. Stephen, I don't know if there's a backup link for YouTube. I think I'm gone. Can you guys hear me in YouTube? Kind of gone here, I think. Yeah, I'm having a problem in YouTube. If you guys can hear me in YouTube, we dropped out here. Oh, thanks, Stephen. I have lost the chat. There is a link in the bottom of YouTube if you want to visit the Bookmap Discord Trade Lab community. I am streaming from Costa Rica, and every once in a while a monkey does its thing. Please hit the like button if you're in YouTube. These streams are available exclusively to Bookmap Discord Trader Lab participants to reverse engineer, screenshot, build out their playbook. There is no perfect solution. You're in the wrong business for confirmation and certainty. You need to learn how to operate in complete uncertainty, and that is counterintuitive, truly. I don't know where I left off because everything blew up over here. So I don't know where I am. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm done with my narration for today. Since we're running out of time, I only got 2 minutes. There's a link in the bottom of YouTube. If you want to visit the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community, remember, Trader Lab is a special community, and you can become part of it. There is no cost. Also, there's 60 PDFs of structured trades you can download. These are just examples. I'm not a vendor. There's no cost. I do share my 45 years of experience, both professionally and otherwise, sitting out here with you guys as a full-time trader, and I share it. There isn't one way to trade, but I think and this I perceive as an advanced program on trading. If you're interested in that and everything and all the education that is provided in the Bookmap Discord channel, including Trader Lab, use the link in the bottom of YouTube. There's no cost for that and a lot of additional trader education. Please give it a thumb up. Come to Trader Lab. I'd like to meet you there. Say hello. Also, my narration continues in the Trader Lab to support traders, and it's interactive. There's a lot going on in the Trader Lab. So you guys know, looks like this, tons of stuff. I can get this moving. A lot of conversation. It's serious. It's professional. It can help you move your career forward, in my opinion. If you're interested in the business of trading, come to Trader Lab. I think no matter where you end up going in this business, you're going to have a different viewpoint and understanding of what the business is. Thank you so much for visiting Trader Lab. Again, apologies for dropping out. Got to blame the monkeys for that. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thanks so much for visiting the Trader Lab. Truly appreciate it. Appreciate all your support. And use the link in the bottom of YouTube if you would like to learn more. See you tomorrow. And thanks again, guys, for visiting the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. Trader Lab, stay